Yeah.
Sure?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It says live 20 seconds.
Yeah, there you go. No, it's not. If y'all can hear me, hold the fuck up. No, it's not.
Isn't an understanding.
I can understand that I'm about to blow up.
It says live 55 seconds. I mean, nobody's watching yet, so.
Yeah, I don't understand what's good. There you go.
Is it something I did wrong?
2 years pop.
Okay, now it's 1.
It's not one when I search. There you go.
I know, but I told you were live.
Damn, I need a haircut, boy.
I'll cut it.
Can you turn it up just a little bit so I can make sure everything is good with mine? So, good evening. Welcome to episode 3 of my MMA talk. I'm your host, Jim Ross of this shit. I had to hit my knees because I wasn't gonna smack the table, but thank you. And this one, I need your phone too.
My phone's on 1%.
Oh, never mind. I guess I'm just gonna wing it. In this one, I'm gonna be talking about the Bellator 214, which is a fantastic card. I'm gonna be talking about the upcoming tomorrow night card of Marlon Moraes versus Rafael Assunção 2. Also on that card, Renato Moicano and Jose Aldo, which I'm very, very excited for. I want to talk about UFC 235, and we're going to go from there. Bellator 214 was lit. I'll tell you one thing, that shit was lit. Bellator really, really outdid themselves with this. Sorry, I'm pulling up the highlights of that event because I just forgot a fight, and I'm just trying to remember. Man, that was a hell of a damn card. I mean, they really, really outdid themselves from start to finish. The prelims were pretty good. Didn't really know many people in the prelims. But that's besides the point. Doesn't mean these guys can't put on a good fight just because you don't know them. If you're a true fan of the sport, you'll watch. There was one in particular to start the main card off, and I know one of them was Ricky Bandejas. Ricky didn't lose that fight. I was a little disappointed in how the judges carried that fight out. They gave it to... I'm trying to remember the kid's name. It'll come up in my head. Like I said, I'm winging this tonight. No reason. I just wanted to try it. Also got a bottle of Ireland's finest of Proper 12, Conor McGregor's whiskey. And I am in no way, shape, or form promoting this for myself. I'm a fan of this. It's really good. But at the same time, let's break this open. Besides that point, Ricky Bandejas was robbed. If you don't remember who Ricky Bandejas is, he was the one that knocked James Gallagher out, or James Gallagher, or however you pronounce his name. Irish-born MMA fighter. Had a big mouth. Ricky shut it up pretty quick. But Bandejas was robbed. The other guy, I remember his name. If I don't, it doesn't really matter. He's irrelevant anyways, especially because in my eyes, Bandejas won at least 2 rounds to 1. But if I'm looking as a judge, I'm watching that fight. I'm 3-0 to Bandejas. I mean, every time the kid shot in on him, he stuffed it. He was landing. He was touching his chin a lot. He was point fighting, and he was winning. I think the judges gave it to him because he was on his back foot a lot. But what does that matter if you're being backed up against the cage, and the guy that's pressing you is getting tagged up, eaten up, can't take you down, can't do anything with you. It was just pure fucking robbery. That is the problem with this sport. I believe that we have boxing judges judging MMA fights, and I don't get it. These guys don't know dick about mixed martial arts, and it's sad as a fan to watch these great fighters get robbed by judges. It's absolutely 1,000% ridiculous. Next fight on that card was Jake Hager versus J.W. Kaiser. Man, Jake Hager, if you don't know, is Jack Swagger, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion, former Money in the Bank winner. Those accolades don't mean nothing. The fact of the matter is he's a Division I All-American at Oklahoma University. And he really impressed me. His wrestling, and he, you know, a lot of these WWE guys or pro wrestling guys in general come in, they can't take a shot, they can't take a punch to the jaw, and goddamn if he didn't. That kid rocked him. He still steadily went in for the takedown, took him down, hit him with a nasty elbow, and then he didn't even have to shift out to the side to finish the arm triangle. It was tight, very, very tight. I was very, very impressed with Jake, or Jack Swagger, you know. Either way, I'm calling Jake because that's in his past. We're going to leave it in the past, and looking forward to see what he's going to do. And the cage, can't call it an octagon. The octagon is owned by the UFC, so in the cage. He looked a little out of breath. I want to chalk it up to being hyped, overly hyped, winning the fight. I'd be hyped too. That's what I want to chalk it up. I mean, we're gonna see him again, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure he's happy with his performance. I want to see him expand his striking a little bit more. He's only been training in MMA for 2 years, or a little under 2 years. Either way, about almost 2 years, 18 months. And he was impressive. He impressed me. Like I said, he looked a little out of breath. Like I said, I don't know if that was him being just amazed that he won the fight, just overly hype, and I don't blame him, you know, getting away from a sport that's literally basically fixed in a way. You know, I don't want to piss off any of my pro wrestling fans, but the fact of the matter is it's fixed. You know, it's scripted for somebody to win. You know who's going to win before you go out. And that's why I don't like Ronda Rousey in the sport. But hey, who am I? I'm on the couch. Anyways, moving on to the next fight. Man, Henry Corrales lit Aaron Pico up. And he took advantage of Aaron Pico not being too familiar with the game. You know, he's only got he had 5 fights under his belt, now 6, 4-2 record. He lost his first fight, you know, went on a tear. Shit happens, man. It really does. The kid's got great boxing. I believe that he aims for the body too much and keeps his hand too low, and he also doesn't bring it back up to his face, and that causes problems for defense, and that showed. He landed the uppercut and did not utilize his great wrestling to hold Henry Corrales down. And hold on one second. Either way, it was a very, very rookie mistake. I thought the problem was he went in for the kill, he backed up, and then he tried to go back in for the kill after Henry had somehow recovered, and then he got into a slugfest with Henry. And when he went in, he was throwing body shots. He's throwing body shots, was not bringing this left hand back up to his face. Obviously, he was holding the guard on the other side, but he wasn't bringing it back up. He was just winging him. He drove back for another one, pop, and then all you see is him go kind of like this, and then pop. That was it. Laying flat, and he's out cold, eyes rolling the back of his head. Man, it sucked to see. I'm very high on Aaron Pico, but this is a learning curve. It's definitely a learning curve. Kid can come back. Kid's strong. Like I said, he's got a great boxing base, great wrestling base. He's a unique fighter. He's got wicked power in his hands. I'm wondering if maybe if he can make the cut to 135. Maybe these guys might be a little too powerful for him. Maybe. I'd like to see him some more. Like I said, he's only had 6 fights. Not really much to go off of. But his first toughest test, he gets cracked. And after he had cracked him. So, shit happens. I think he'll be back. That's just him being young and naive to the game. And, you're going to take losses on the chin. And he literally took it on the chin. He'll be back. Kudos to Henry Corrales. I believe that it's him or AJ McKee next for the bantamweight or featherweight championship in Bellator. Forgot the Bellator champion name. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm free going this tonight. Just trying something new. Either way, let's get to our main event. Leading up to the main event, I seen Frank Mir up in the commentary booth saying that Fedor drops his hands when he tries to throw a hook or a power shot to try to put you out. And he called that 100%. The fight started out, both men felt each other out, little feints here and there, nothing really landing. Fedor dropped his hands and he came over the top with like a left. It was more like an overhand left or a hook. It started out as a hook and then he threw it over the top, caught him, put him down. As soon as he ran in, he hit him with the right. I think that split his shit open. And then just a couple hammer fists. Referee has seen enough. I loved how Fedor didn't protest it. Fedor's chin is not there anymore, being 42 years old. Fedor's a legend, and maybe he could ride off into the sunset. Or if I want to play matchmaker here, I see that forgot the guy's name. I'm sorry, but he's got a fight coming up with Matt Mitrione. Winner of that faces Ryan Bader for the heavyweight title, and the loser of that faces Fedor. Just my opinion. Depending on what Ryan Bader wants to do, seems like he wants to stay at light heavyweight because if you think about it, he hasn't been really over. He's been under 230 pounds pretty much the entire time. So it sounds like he's maintaining his weight to still maintain himself for light heavyweight. And respect to him, man. He's a professional at all times. Very underrated fighter, and I'm glad to see him where he's at, Old UFC guy coming in there and just taking over. Hopefully he can make it last for a long time. Either way, we're going to move on to the Marlon Moraes versus Rafael Sunsao 2. I think I'm putting that out of order. It's Rafael Sunsao will be in the blue corner. So, give me a second. I'm going to pull that fight card up. All I got to do is see names. I know a couple of fights off the top of my head. Like the main event, but I like to start from the bottom and work my way up. Just me. But while I'm sitting here, just a brief second. I don't know if anybody knows this, but if you watch the UFC press conference last night for 235, Dana White did announce that Holly Holm and Aspen Ladd is canceled. And me, I don't care. I wasn't really a fan of that fight. And I've been saying, I said on a couple podcasts, the two episodes ago, and I've been saying it to a bunch of my friends on my page. Obviously, also if you've subscribed to me on YouTube, I do have Instagram and I do have a Facebook with Burkhead's Corner. if you're interested, please like and subscribe, share. You know, I'd appreciate the support. I love all y'all either way. Let's get to. I'll start from Thiago Alves versus Maxi Griffin. Hey, this could be a good fight. Thiago Alves, I haven't seen him in a while. You remember he fought for the title against GSP in UFC 100. Got dominated, just pure domination by GSP. Thiago ain't really been the same since then, in my opinion. I think this is a good fight for Max Griffin. I think Max Griffin can pull this off. Kid's really good. I don't know Marcus Perez or Anthony Hernandez, so I'm going to move on from that. I do not. I've seen that. I think it's Sarah Frota or one of the two ladies missed weight, 123 pounds. That's pure ignorance. It really is. Like you basically told your opponent, I don't give a fuck about you, and I don't give a fuck about this fight. I'm gonna come in there and fight, even though I do not deserve it. But hey, whatever. That's how you want to carry yourself. That's why you just lost money, and I hope you lose. Just me. I hate when fighters miss weight. I just think it's unprofessional as shit, especially if you're in a training camp for 8 to 12 weeks, and you have this amount of time to prepare, and you come in 7 pounds, 8 pounds overweight. You are nothing in my book. And let's put it that way. Johnny Walker versus Justin Lido, or I don't really know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. Either way, I don't like Johnny Walker. I don't like his attitude. You know, he's a big dude. He's a stud. That kid's got some real talent. And not like how when he knocked out shit. Who did he knock out, man? I'll remember in a second. Khalil Roundtree. There you go. Khalil Roundtree. He knocked him out with a stiff elbow, got on top, pounded him out. Referee stepped in and stopped. And as the kid was getting up, he looked at the referee with a dirty look, pushed him off. You know, I think that's bullshit. You shouldn't act that way. That's unprofessional as fuck. The referee's in there just to protect the guy that you just knocked out, and you at the same time. So, I don't like it. I really don't like it. The kid's obviously good. I'm not going to take it away from him. I just don't like him. And the way he carried that situation, you know, he's a little bit of a hype train to me. This guy, no disrespect to Justin, he's not really much to talk about in this division. But Johnny can get up there. You know, he's a big dude. He's got some serious power. He looks like he can mix it up pretty well. But let's push him on some real talent after this if he wins this fight. Charles Oliveira and David Timir. Charles Oliveira, remember, has 12 submissions, breaking the record of 11 from Royce Gracie, and that is an accomplishment. You know, a lot of people say that he did it against tomato cans, but shut up. Honestly, just shut up, man. These guys, you know, it's different if he won a title, or not won a title, but like got a title shot off of fighting nobodies and then went and fought with somebody and got worked, and that would, you know, that's a good, you know, good put together there. But at the same time, he tapped these guys. You made him made them give up, either that or go fuck to sleep. Broke their arms, shit like that. Kid's a beast. 12 submissions, man. That's a lot, man. He's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner. I like the kid. I've always liked the kid. Very underrated. It could never get his stand up there to where it matches if somebody tries to take him down after getting tagged a lot. He could tap him. You know, I think that if he worked on his stand up a little bit more, I think that we'd be talking about a different Charles Oliveira, but we're not. So I'll take Charles Oliveira, and I'll take him by submission within the second round. Damian Maia versus Lyman Good. If Damian Maia cannot implement his usual game plan by attack with the wrestling and jiu-jitsu, it's going to be a long night for him. David Timir's got some real power, and it's going to be an interesting fight. Haven't really done much research on David. I've just seen, or not Damon, Lyman Good. Sorry. I haven't really seen much footage on Lyman, but hey, he could shut the lights out, and I hope he does, because it's time for Damian Maia to hang him up. Moving on, to the co-main event, you got Jose Aldo and Renato Moicano. I seen that Jose is the underdog. I see this as a pick'em fight, which that means there's no Vegas cannot decide who's the favorite or who's more likely to win, etc. This is a pick'em fight for me. My unbiasedness says, based on experience and octagon experience and championship experience, I got Jose. I really do. But if I'm being a little biased, I like the hype train of Renato Moicano. Man, that kid is something else. His striking is next level. He just knocked out Cub Swanson. Like that's a feat in right. That dude's got a fucking chin on him. But it's obviously his chin's starting to disappear a little. Or no, he didn't knock him out. He stunned him, took him down, rear naked choke. Sorry. People make mistakes. That's why I'm live here. Give me a break. I'd like to see Renato pull it off and maybe Jose ride off into the sunset. He's still young, man. Jose's still young. Jose still got time, to enjoy life after the UFC or after mixed martial arts period. He's only 32 years old, and it might be time for Jose to hang him up. I seen something today about fighting Anthony Pettis in May or April or something like that. That fight is like 6 years overdue. It was supposed to happen in 2013 or between 12 and 13. Jose kind of like made me feel like he was a little nervous and scared to fight him. Anthony posed a lot of problems at the time. Anthony hasn't been doing so well lately, but he's got that fight, I think, still with Wonderboy coming up, and I still think that's a bad matchup for him. I still don't think that fight should happen. If I'm him, it's just not smart. It's really not, man, because that dude's really dangerous. It's not smart, especially the way he fights. He likes to attack. Wonderboy bases his movements and his striking and anything attacking based on what you do to him. He's a counter fighter, and he's I think he is the best counter fighter in MMA. And if you're a smart fighter, you don't go in guns blazing against Wonderboy Thompson. Nobody's ever done it and been successful with it. Just saying. Rafael Sunsao versus Marlon Moraes. First fight, I believe, went to decision. I believe I've seen bits and pieces of the fight. Not really a fan of either man. Not really impressed by either man. I still say that Rafael Sunsao is the quote-unquote gatekeeper of the bantamweight division. He's always been there. He has a win over TJ Dillashaw, a win over Marlon Moraes. Let's see here. Let's go down his record. Let's talk about Rafael Sunsao. I don't feel like he gets enough attention. Aljamain Sterling beat him. Beat Brian Caraway, Pedro Munoz. Got that obviously win over TJ Dillashaw, Mike Easton. If you don't know who Mike Easton used to fight in Richmond, Virginia. For all my guys that watch me that are from Richmond. He trained under Julio Foca Fernandez, got his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under him. Julio Fernandez coached or taught and gave the black belt to Eric Berto. Eric Berto was my trainer in Richmond Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Self-Defense Academy. He also teaches Muay Thai out there. But yeah, a lot of experience from Rafael Sunsao. Guy's a big player in the game, and maybe after this, maybe we get to see him get a title shot. I do believe that the next person getting a title shot in there is gonna be Henry Cejudo, just based on what just happened in the UFC 125 fight. But hey, I'm just playing matchmaker here. I'm just saying what I've seen the UFC do so many times in the past, and let's just say that's probably what's gonna happen. Let's see, UFC 235. Man, that card is stacked. Watching that press conference last night got me even more excited about it. Obviously, the main event is John Jones and Anthony Smith. John Jones is going to be the heavy favorite over Anthony Smith, and it was going to happen like that. I spent the day watching highlights of Anthony Smith, and he needs to work on a couple things if he's going to fight a guy like John. You know, John likes to kick the legs out, you know, kick him in, kick him out, you know, either way. And in his last fight against Volkan, he just constantly ate the power leg kick, you know, to his lead leg. And that's not good. He also ate a bunch of shots, you know, that for him to be the quote-unquote better boxer or better striker coming into the fight, like people said. He's got a lot of experience, over 40 fights, but it definitely didn't show against Volkan. It was Demir. Volkan was working him. Volkan got taken down in the third round, and then he got submitted. And that's just him being naive to the ground. Like I said, this is a multi-dimensional game. You can't be one-dimensional and expect yourself to last a long time, you know, and it showed, you know. Anthony Smith pulled that one out of his ass. He was losing the third round before taking him down, you know. But hey, I'm not taking anything away from him. He finished the fight either way. So, you know, I like the fight. I like this fight. I'm not going to make a pick right now. Those of you that know me probably know who I am going with. But I've said in the past that I wasn't gonna speak on John Jones as much anymore, you know, as far as like, you know, I have a heavy bias towards him, and I realize that, and that's not the point of this channel. It's not the point of this page, any of that. So I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it until there. Tyron Woodley and Kamaru Usman. Man, this is a good fight. Kamaru got me a little hype. So did Tyron. The way they were shit talking each other back and forth. Tough fight. This is the toughest fight of Kamaru Usman's career. I do not think that this is the toughest fight of Tyron Woodley's career. Oh, Jesus Christ. I cannot wait. I am so sorry. This unprofessional setup. You know, I cannot wait until I get my actual setup. Once again, I apologize. Either way, Tyron Woodley and Kamaru Usman. Kamaru is in for the fight of his life against T. Wood. T. Wood is a beast. Great strike. Obviously, he's got great striking, great knockout power. I would say that great of a striking. He's just got fucking rockets on his wrist and his fucking shoulders and can knock you out at any point in time during the fight. Great wrestling base. But here's where I think that he runs into a problem. Pressing a guy like Kamaru Usman. One, Kamaru's got range, and he's going to be able to circle out pretty good. What is he going to do if Kamaru Usman reverses the position on the cage and takes him down? Like, how does he react? I've never really seen T. Wood on his back, so I'm interested to see that. New T. Wood, you know. Very interested to see. I'm very interested in that fight. Obviously, I'm interested more into the main event, but, you know, that co-main event slot is definitely main event caliber. You know, I don't wanna like toot my own horn here and make picks early. I mean, I'm leaning towards Tyron Woodley personally. He is a fucking monster. That's just my pick for right now. I'll assess the situation at a later date because I got until March 2nd, and we're gonna be talking about these fights many more times. Hopefully, nothing happens. Nobody gets canceled. Knock on wood. Because I definitely can't wait to see it. That third fight, Ben Askren being welcomed to the UFC by ruthless Robbie Lawler. Two things. This is the most dangerous fight in Ben Askren's career. You know, he's got the experience. You know, he's been champion in many organizations, but this is the toughest fight of his career. And the reason I say that is he's never faced a striker like ruthless Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler, he does great with people pressing him because he knows how to give shots to circle back out. He's a wise vet, been a vet for a very long time, and Ben looks to always rely on his wrestling. But how do you react by not being able to take the opponent down? What are you gonna do, especially against a guy that can outstrike you, in my opinion? So it'll be great to see. I believe that Ben doesn't really have to work on his wrestling. It's always going to be there. I do think that he should get into Rufus Sport, start working with T. Wood, start working with Anthony Pettis. Just stay away from CM Punk and he'll be all right. CM Punk ain't going to teach him shit. just making a joke there. But yeah, very interested in that fight. I think he poses a big threat to Robbie, and I think Robbie poses an equal threat to him. So March 2nd, man, it's coming. Hopefully no injuries, nobody pulls out, because I can't wait. Then we got Cody Garbrandt versus Pedro Munoz. Dude, watching Cody at that press conference. He ate his humble pie and he got a big helping of it by TJ Dillashaw's fist in both fights. Cody is definitely a different person. He's changed. He doesn't look like he's getting really angry or getting offset. His balances are there. He seems more humble, very respectful to his opponent. And I believe that his kid changed his life. We're talking about the same guy that said, TJ wouldn't sign the contract, and TJ came back and told him, like, well, you have your kid, and you let me know. So he had his kid, and then now he knows, what the feeling is like. And impressed is the least I could say. I grew a new respect for him. Hopefully, that shows in the ring or the octagon, and we don't see him as so hot-headed going into a fight, just trying to knock somebody's block. The fights ain't always about that. It ain't never been always about that. Angry mind is a narrow mind, and he had a narrow mind against TJ Dillashaw. It was the pure hatred and whatever, man. It's the fight games, fight business. TJ taught him a lesson, and lesson well deserved. The kid's still young, still got plenty of time to grow, and I think that's what we're going to see. He's got some of the best boxing in that bantamweight division, and a lot of people might be against it, but if he works his way back all the way up to fight TJ if he's still champion, fuck it, let it happen, man. People deserve third chances, fourth chances. If you work your way back up, you're at the top of your division. You can't just avoid that person by not giving him a title shot because of what happened the past 2 times. He deserved it. He earned his right back. So, kudos to you, Cody. Respectful. But you got a big test on your hand. Pedro is not a slouch. Kid is really good. His first fight in the UFC was against fucking Rafael Sanzal, So, he's tested. He's very tested. And I can't wait to see that fight either. I'm gonna get to the Holly Holm and Aspen Ladd right here in the end. But also you got Mickey Gall and Diego Sanchez on the UFC Fight Pass prelims. Holy shit. On the prelims, man. That's going to be a good one. That kid's tall, really tall compared to Diego Sanchez. So I'm interested to see how Diego handles that. There was one more fight. Zabit Mago. I'm not even going to begin to pronounce that. Jeremy Stevens, that's going to be a fucking fantastic fight. I can't fucking wait. UFC 235 is shaping up to be lit. As long as everything stays right in order, we got us a hell of a fight card, ladies and gentlemen. Back to the Holly Holm and Aspen Ladd. Dana announced that fight had been canceled or nixed off of the 235 card. I couldn't understand why, and then I started to, my brain started to crank up a little bit. And I put two things together. One, Holly was dealing with that divorce with her husband, and that could have been it. But then I put the second thing together. They're trying to build a fight with her and Amanda Nunes, and UFC 237 is reported in Brazil that Amanda Nunes will defend her, I think, bantamweight championship against Holly Holm. Lo and behold. And I, for one, am excited for that fight. I think that fight is legit, 100%. I think even though she's coming off losses, or not losses, but like she's coming off pretty decent performances, you know. I think her last fight was it against Cyborg or was it Megan? It might have been Megan Anderson. Let me look this up, double check before I'm wrong. Sorry. Yes. She had 3 losses in a row. Misha, Chev, Jermaine Duraname, even though people felt that she won the fight. I did too a little bit. Betchko had a knockout decision to Chris Cyborg, and then she just beat Megan, dominated Megan Anderson with the wicked ground game. Holly poses a really big threat to Amanda. Amanda is the greatest female fighter in MMA history. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You can say Ronda. Ronda, in my eyes, was never that great. Her judoka is next. Nobody can touch her judoka. But at the same time, you have to have different aspects of the game, and which Ronda didn't have, and that's striking. I personally think that Holly Holm is the most decorated as far as skilled MMA female fighter, period, of all time. Not just MMA. You got boxing, kickboxing. I mean, look at her. Look at her records through boxing, kickboxing, MMA. I think she poses a big threat to a woman like Amanda, who likes to press you with her strikes. But Amanda's smart. She's going to be wise to it. And I don't think that she's going to like to engage her just like she didn't like to engage with Shevchenko. This is pretty much the same fight to me. I don't have a pick in that fight. I mean, even if it's not made right now, so I can't make a pick. But if I was a betting man, I'm putting money on Amanda Nunes. Just me. Next week, we have UFC 234. Israel Adesanya welcoming Anderson Silva back from suspension. Man, this is a hard, tough fight to come back if I'm Anderson Silva. You got a guy in Israel Adesanya, and I'm going to talk more about this card next week, and I've said it last week. You got a guy in Israel Adesanya that is 1,000% ready for you. He's watched you over the years. He's idolized you. He's seen every one of your fights probably 50 to 100 times. He knows exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and when you're going to do it. That is a very, very tough fight for Anderson Silva. I think Israel knocks him out. Mark my words. It would be interesting to see Israel get beat, but I do believe that this kid is not a hype train. He's legit, 100%. And then you got Robert Whittaker taking on Kelvin Gastelum. And the main event. I don't have my pick on that fight yet. I'm leaning a little towards Robert Whittaker, but I'll talk about that and break it down next week. I still got some studying to do on some of these guys. I've seen every one of Anderson Silva's fight, Pride, UFC, all of it. There's nothing I haven't seen of his, so I'm not allowed to do any studying there. But I'm gonna watch Israel's more of his kickboxing fights and reassess his fights in the UFC so far. And see where that goes. I need to watch more on Calvin Gastelum to give a legit opinion about him. I've seen his fights with Jacare and Chris Weidman and Tim Kennedy, and I believe he fought T. Wood too. I believe I've seen that fight. Either way, I'm gonna do some research. I've seen all the Roberts fights, so it'll be interesting. And then the week after that, we have that making the debut on the official, like a main card debut on the regular ESPN channel. Francis Ngannou taking on Cain Velasquez, welcoming him back. James Vick, Paul Felder, man, that's a fight right there. Cynthia Calvillo and Courtney Casey at strawweight. Alex Caceres and Kron Gracie. Andre Feely and Miles Jury. And then on the prelims on ESPN, you got Jimmy Rivera and Aljamain Sterling. Dude, that's a hell of a fight card. And then on the early prelims, you got Renan Barão, which is amazing. He's making that cut back to 135. I say he misses weight because he just stop making that weight, man. You're torturing yourself at this point. But I think I've pretty much touched on everything I needed to touch on. I seen today that in boxing news, I should say, Anthony Joshua's got a fight. I think it was Babyface Miller. Let me look that up really quick to confirm. It was just a little report that came down the pipeline. One second. Jabril Babyface Miller. Oh man, he's showing fear to these big heavyweights like Fury and Wilder, but this is my opinion. We're not going to talk about him. I honestly think that I'm going to sign off here tonight. I feel like I've gotten everything I needed to say out, and I did this all without really anything to go off of. You know, usually I write some stuff down, so I usually just write topics. I don't really write out what I'm going to say. So I don't run off a script before you guys think I ran off a script. Never go off a script. This ain't professional wrestling. You know, I'm not professional wrestling. I'm Burkhead's Corner. I'm the Jim Ross of this shit. I don't need paperwork sitting in front of me with words all over it telling me exactly what I need to say because I wrote it down a couple of days ago. No. This is all shooting straight from the hip. And on top of that, I know just about everything that I'm talking about. Like, just it's always stored up there, man. I can start a conversation with this stuff at any point in time during the day. I love it. I love this sport. I love both sports. I love MMA more though. Just me. I think this is gonna be successful. This is definitely gonna be